What's up, everybody? This is Candy.
And this is B, and this is a Trend Kill Quickie.
A 5-minute rock news show hosted by us. This week we have for you a fun little story about Perry Farrell, most commonly known for Jane's Addiction.
And Porno for Pyros, too, I think.
Porno for Pyros is pretty
relevant
big,
when they were around in the early 90s. But yeah, primarily Jane's Addiction. Yeah. He's actually been in a number of acts. He was in Psycom in the early 80s. They were kind of like a post-punk era band. And then Jane's Addiction, and then Porno for Pyros in the early 90s. And then Satellite Party in the 2000s, like the early 2000s. But Jane's Addiction has been on and off since 1985.
Right. He also had a little bit of his own solo career, or still has a little bit of his own solo career as well too. Been off and on as well, kind of in between projects that he's doing.
Well, he had to undergo some pretty major surgery recently because he has some crushed discs in his spine.
Which, if that's not gruesome enough,
but wait, there's more.
He actually had to have his voice box removed while they were doing the surgery to remove these discs and put in artificial ones.
And he actually was awake for the procedure and saw his voice box just sitting there on a table. Like, could you imagine if your entire career and legacy was built around your voice and you just see your voice box sitting on a table next to you?
Like, I mean, I'd be kind of curious to see what a voice box actually looks like outside of pictures, but I don't want to. I don't think I'd want to see my own.
No. Especially not someone who, like I said, he's a vocalist. That's what he does. That's what he's known for. So yeah, that probably was pretty fucking freaky. I would say
pretty traumatic, if anything. But I mean, it's not like he's any stranger to a little bit of trauma in his life.
So he had artificial discs actually put in place of the crushed discs. So now he has like this wonderful posture.
He actually did an interview with Classic Rock magazine.
He says, "So now I am a 1/4 inch taller and I'm twice as attractive to my wife."
That was just a little paraphrase from the quote there, which I think is really funny, especially considering, I mean, he's always kind of had especially when it comes to the public, he's always kind of had a little bit of a cynical humor to him. Back in the early 90s, there were rumors that he had contracted HIV due to his nefarious drug use, which we'll talk about here in a moment.
Yeah.
But he never confirmed or denied it to the public, and he would just comment, little health updates and stuff like that just to kind of mess with people. It just kind of goes to show a little bit of his character. I mean, he's just a little bit cynical, but all around a decent guy.
Yeah, and I think he did that just because like his drug use and all of those things were just constantly being talked about in the news. So I mean, he just wanted to fuck with people back because he's probably tired of people talking shit about it. But yeah, his heroin use was pretty much out of control during the Jane's Addiction era, and he even said that this surgery didn't really freak him out that much because he's surprised at like how long he's lived. He's overdosed apparently so many times that he lost count, and he said he was lost at sea, which Candy and I both really tried to give you that story because we really wanted to know
how the fuck he got lost at sea.
And there's nothing anywhere about it. So if anybody knows the story of Perry Farrell and how he was lost at sea, please reach out to us and let us know because we are so curious.
And as unlikely as it is that Perry Farrell will ever watch this show, if you happen to watch the show, Perry, please tell us how you got lost. We would love to know because that just seems fascinating.
Yes. So yeah, he's definitely been playing with fire for the majority of his life. So this surgery for him was just like no big thing. But the thing that I learned a little bit more about Perry Farrell, he said that despite all the times he overdosed, despite his heroin drug use, that the most painful part of it for him was watching someone that he loved go through the pain of addiction. So that just kind of speaks volumes to who he is as a person. He's an environmentalist. He's held a bunch of fundraising events for the homeless in his hometown. I mean, he's just a pretty fucking stand-up dude.
I mean, he went from basically partying with the Red Hot Chili Peppers in the 80s while he was in Psycom, which is, how he actually ended up meeting Eric Avery, which was his bass player in Jane's Addiction. He went from partying with them and nefarious heroin abuse to basically just being a decent human being. It's nice to see that he's actually turned his whole life around. He actually, was responsible for, or partially responsible at least, for the revival of Lollapalooza, which was a festival that actually was supposed to be, it was intended to be the farewell of Jane's Addiction, and it ended up being the revival of Jane's Addiction not once, but twice, as well as many other bands. It's also been their revivals as well too, which I think is incredible. So he's actually, giving back to the music community that he loves so much. And another little fun thing that came out of Lollapalooza was he actually created Kidapalooza as well. It basically is Lollapalooza, but it's kid friendly, which I thought was kind of cute as well.
Yeah. Totally. I think he's just, he's a humanitarian. And, despite his struggles with substance use and things like that, that never takes away from the core of who a person is. It doesn't mean you're not a bad person because you struggle with substance use. So it's a good thing that he was able to overcome that and exercise his philanthropic side. No, he's not a full-on rapist. He's a philanthropist.
I'm a full-on rapist, full-on.
Philanthropist?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So that he can give back to his community, like Candy said. So, Perry Farrell, we are happy that you had a successful surgery.
Absolutely.
And we're happy that you're recovering and doing well. And keep doing what you're doing, and we advocate for you.
Jane's Addiction was a staple of my young childhood.
In the late 80s, early 90s, Jane's Addiction definitely stood out. They were unique. They had that definite, psychedelic kind of influence to them. And they just had a really different sound, more than a lot of, the music that was out in that time. Because that was the beginning of, the grunge era, too. And, the end of glam rock in the late 80s.
You can definitely hear a lot of 70s influence in there as well, too. It was definitely unique for its time and
very
stood out for sure. So Perry Farrell, once again, we are so
Perry
happy.
Farrell, we love you. And please tell us how the fuck you got lost at sea.
Right, come on.
Dying to know.
Inquiring minds would like to know, how the fuck did you get lost at sea?
Was it like a Gilligan's Island scenario? We gotta know what happened.
If it wasn't a Gilligan's Island scenario, I would love to see Perry Farrell pretend to be in Gilligan's Island.
They should do like a
video
reenactment, and he's dressed like Gilligan.
Perry Farrell, do it. I think we all want to kind of know the real story, because this is something that he just kind of threw at the public in this short, brief interview.
It in there, and then there's no information on that at all. So
with that being said, we are going to go ahead and cut this episode. Thank you guys again so much for watching. We appreciate you. Before we let you guys go, just do us a quick favor. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you guys know when these episodes come out. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching again, and share with your friends. Once again, I'm Candy.
And I'm B.
And that was a Trend Kill Quickie. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Peace.